When LA Clippers co-owner Donald Sterling said recently that the NBA has a history of discriminatory practices and then called the league, quote, a band of hypocrites and bullies, he meant it. Now Sterling is reaching into his wallet to dig up dirt on the NBA. A source tells CNN that Sterling has hired several firms to investigate the NBA's 29 other owners and its former and current commissioners. He will give each firm a budget of $50,000 and 30 days to finish an investigation. I want to talk to my legal ladies about this new development. Mo Ivory is an attorney and radio personality, and Judge Glenda Hatchett is, of course, the star of the Judge Hatchett TV court series. Judge Hatchett, the private investigators will look into discrimination cases. Yep. They'll look at a host of things, but you know that you have Donald Sterling saying, essentially, I'm launching this investigation because I'm already sending the message out there that I'm not alone.
The only one. And I'll tell you, first of all, he's got 6 different components doing this at $50,000 a piece, which I find very interesting. The scheme of things, $50,000 in this kind of investigation, Mo, as you know, is not a lot of money.
No?
No, it really isn't for this kind, because they're going to be looking at all the finances. They're going to be looking at all the franchises. I mean, each and every one of the franchises in the NBA. But
there has to be a cooperation on the other end to actually give up some information.
And legally, they aren't subpoenaed to do it. They don't have to do it.
So it's a matter of cooperation.
It's a matter of somebody saying and dropping some dirt and dropping a dime. That's really what's going to come down to.
And I think if someone goes back to him and says, I need more money because I think I found something, I mean, I'm sure Donald Sterling will give the investigators more money. So I don't think we're necessarily stuck on that $50,000.
No, absolutely.
He wants the information if it's out there.
So clearly, well, I guess, is it your view, Mo, that he is doing this because he feels like he's going to have the goods? You know, that he knows that there are, whether it's past commissioners or other team owners who are guilty of the same kind of behavior? Or is it simply a distraction, a way in which to drag this out? What's your point of view?
Well, I think it's both. But I do think, you know, think about the NBA owners and the little club that it is and the kind of conversations that they've had over the years. He's been an owner for a very long time. I'm sure he's heard some stuff in those years. And then he's thinking to himself, well, okay, I got caught, but what about everybody else
and maybe
that
this
didn't
is
get
why
caught?
there were a number of owners who were very mute. They were quiet.
And they talked about a slippery
where do we go
slope.
From here?
Yes.
And I think it's an intimidation factor. I really do. I think that this is an intimidation factor to say, okay, you're coming
Except
after
Mark
me.
Cuban, he was actually very vocal about his interview.
Very vocal.
Eventually.
But I think an intimidation factor, because now the owners are going to be, oh my goodness, what's been said? What are people going to say about me?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, Sterling also gave that interview to CNN, to Anderson Cooper, where he made some very, very poignant points.
He did, but I think what he's trying to say is that I know that other people have done the same exact thing that I did, except I got caught. So now I'm going to let everybody else get caught and see the way the NBA would be able to handle that. Now, can you just imagine what a problem this is going to be for the NBA if just one other owner is caught on tape having said something racially charging or homophobic or anything like that?
Sure, except there's a timetable that the NBA is trying to adhere to. Commissioner Sterling says, I want this done by this date, and the next, by this date. So no one, I wouldn't imagine the NBA is going to wait for Donald Sterling's investigation to...
No, but he could disrupt that timeline, though.
Well, I think,
much so.
I think what's going to happen
even
is
without any kind of court involvement, this is something he's doing on the side.
He's doing it on the side.
A court order.
I don't think that this is ultimately going to have any bearing on the sale of this franchise. I think what he's doing now, I think he's just throwing dirt and mud to say, okay, listen, if it happens to me, it's going to happen to other people.
Does that increase his chances of keeping the team?
I think
removing the fine?
Listen, I think it depends on what they find. If his investigators, just imagine in the next, week, his investigators come up with another tape or something else on another owner, I think it will have a huge impact on what happens with him and the future of the NBA, getting on top of owners.
And then we haven't even mentioned Shelley Sterling and where she is in all of
this.
Sure.
I disagree on this. I think that even if there's something later, I think that's going to have to be dealt with. I think there's going to have to be a sell of this team just because of the way this thing is going down. And remember,
before the next season begins.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And
Shelley, I don't think so.
And Shelley has indemnified the NBA against any lawsuit, including Donald Sterling coming in and
what do you
suing the
mean?
NBA.
Yeah, but that's after. So she has.
She has to have the right to sell.
She has to have the right to sell. And
Right.
right now she's saying that he has been, considered legally incompetent by physicians, so that she is able to make decisions on his behalf. But he is also fighting that. So if he fights that
He's
and he
undermining
prevails,
the whole claim of incompetence.
yes, absolutely. So if he prevails in that, then she cannot make decisions for him, which means she cannot sell the team off for him.
Well, but the magical piece is that the owners can still vote.
That's true.
The owners can still vote, Fred
That is
and Mo.
true. That is
and
true.
that all they
And
have to
that's
do
still
is
enough.
put this to a
Because
vote.
it is a league, it is a franchise.
It is a league. It is their bylaws. This is what
It's
it
a
says.
membership.
I have read this clearly. They have the right. All they have to do is get 2/3 of the vote to come in, and they can remove him as owner of the team.
Yeah, unless 3 other owners are found to have said some
I'm
really
exhausted just
inflammatory
thinking
things.
about all the options.
We need a whole half hour to talk about
we
this.
do. Woo, I'm pooped. All right. Thanks so much, Mo. Judge, good to see you both. Appreciate it.
Thank
But we've
you.
learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Thank you.